So today we'll start with a deep breath. Drop the shoulders and unclench the jaw. So what is service? What does service really mean? Service to others. The sense of assisting, the sense of supporting has evolved and is evolving from an older construct and era and timeline. Yesterday's teachings are not today's teachings. It's not that service to others gives way to nothingness, it's that service to others takes on a whole new realm outside of there being an other that even needs support, that even needs assistance in that way. When you serve yourself in the true sense, you serve everyone in your field as an invitation, as the demonstration that it's safe to fall into yourself in this way. You may find that some carry the energy of service, and that's beautiful, but it's also needing to be evolved. It's needing to be recontextualized into what the collective actually need right now. Sure, you could try and fit your consciousness into supporting those who are coming into awakening, but those on the leading edge need to pierce through this. They need to stop looking back to support and now begin into the fresh powder phase that I call it. Because it's many paths that have not been tread. It's pure potential, it's pure boundlessness. Humanity is a bow in which many arrows are set to fly. We are not one linear collective all going in the same route. We are unfolding into many different splinters that go far beyond the new earths. The new earths really are for those who are awakening, who are stepping into a choice of unity consciousness. But what happens to those that already embodied unity consciousness, even on this earth? This earth isn't really outside of any of the other planets. Everything exists within your consciousness, and so you'll simply find yourself wherever you need to be. That's how synchronicity works, that's how resonance works. You're not in space and time on a planet in a collective, you're just finding yourself in a reality that tunes to the level of clarity you have right now. You are a tuning device, a radio transmitter, both attracting and seeing what you are. It's not that we are all going the same way, it's that we have so much potential, so much trajectory back into ourselves at a different angle. When we go off into our future, we're really returning to our origins. We think that the future's in front and our origins are behind, but they've never been two. They've only been two in the linearity of exploration of matter, of timelines, of linearity. We get to not so much leave this planet, but go beyond into the aspects which have never really been here and yet have sent a fractal of themselves down into embodiment in order to experience what it's like to be drenched in matter, to be drenched in the need for support, the need to serve others, the need for all of our little fractal cells within one body to come into themselves, into sovereignty. And so this word sovereignty is what I am so interested in. If you fall into the mistake that, well, once we just get through awakening, then all of these other ET races will do the work from here, you're back into disowning your sovereignty, disowning yourself, and being a disservice to others. The true sovereignty is seeing that humanity holds a dormant potential to go beyond needing assistance from any galactic federation, any universal beings that are outside the self. They're all reflections which can give certain types of support, but they're not going to give you the sustenance to come into your own as an interstellar sovereign being. What happens when you go beyond even the linearity of higher or lower densities? You step out of the reality structure in its totality and you begin to birth new universes within yourself, birth new concepts of what it means to return into self and to fractal out into density. I send out a signal on this channel in a very pure way. I attempt to attract only those coming into their full sovereignty. I see a very clear vision of where we are going, not in detail, not in so much visuals, but in energetics, where a small group of us will begin to not so much peel away, but unhook ourselves from the minute gravity that remains in the human collective, as the collective chooses between technology, augmentation, chooses between power, struggle, and those of us that come into our light body, that does not require the augmentation of robotics, that does not require this disowning of consciousness as the primary technology, the primary activation of our dormant potentials, unlimited potentials in, you could say, superhuman abilities, but really they're natural abilities, they're disowned abilities, that we had to leave at the gate in order to experience this level of focus, this level of introspection into spirit. Without that level of focus, we would not introspect into who we are, what we are, and the boundaries to ourselves. Now that we have come through this phase, we are into a whole new dynamic, beyond the dynamic of separation, beyond the dynamic of even ascension. We get to seed new worlds, we get to design landscapes, we get to return to instant creativity without there being a distance, a duration between intention and creation. You could call it white magic, but really the true magic is insisting on limitation, insisting that these natural abilities within consciousness are wrong. What happens when the small group that's beginning to form, especially the ones who are attracted to this channel, begin to see themselves as not so much just in humanity, but forming a whole new collective, a whole new experience. And we hold keys for this experimentation to evolve much deeper than set out originally. The planet is not just a home, although it is a very beautiful place. It's also a launch pad. It's a first step into matter, but it's not the last. It's a place where much was discovered, but just like everything that's discovered, the discoveries usually lead to even more explorations from a new sense of wisdom, love, and sovereignty. This is a natural passion of mine, with much of the human passion that has completely dropped away from the human self, the identified self with doing something in the terms of power and identity and abundance within form. What happens when you have everything you need at your fingertips at all times? Form becomes very strange in its ability to provide anything outside of a launch pad for further explorations into self. It's time for us to go into a space which firstly goes beyond an old identity, but sees that there are new archetypes that are able to be embodied. There are new types of experiences to be had. Outside of veiling all of your memories, holding the full body of your consciousness, now open to explore new worlds, in new collectives, in an organic sense of interstellar sovereignty.